This program is part of the Infinite Potato Alliance. Visit us at infinitepotato.com.
I'm Jared Stern. I think people should listen because we're desperate for attention right now.
I'm also Jared Stern. This is what I like to call an exercise in benign narcissism. And
You're Between Two Sterns.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Between Two Sterns. Hey, how you feeling, Jared?
All right, everybody take out their bingo cards.
That's right. Because it's time to play What Does Jared Stern Have? And if you look in your bingo card under
A, hernia.
Show me hernia.
So
aside from carrying the podcast, how did you herniate yourself?
don't make me laugh too hard. It hurts when I laugh.
Okay. This will be a somber podcast then.
Last week I had... Was it last week? Was last week when I had the back spasm?
It might have been.
I had the back spasm. Yeah, because we didn't record last week. What? No. 2 weeks ago.
We didn't record last week.
2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I had a back spasm.
All right.
Supposed to go to a wedding over that weekend. Rachel goes down Thursday because there's like pre-wedding. It's her cousin who got married, so pre-wedding stuff on Thursday or on Friday. I driving down on Friday after work.
By the way,
I did.
Thank you for miming the drive.
I want to give a little treat to the listeners who are watching. So I was going to drive down Friday.
I can't wait till you mime hernia.
And so Thursday morning, I had the audacity to be 42 years old and standing up from the toilet.
Oh, no.
That was the combination of things that occurred.
Oh, no.
That caused my back to just utterly freak out and like just started spasming and twitching. I was like, oh, like the level of pain. And I've had a back spasm before. It was when I was like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. We were recording the podcast, I believe. Anyway, I was in the kitchen at the apartment in Long Beach, California, and I leaned down to put a fork in the dishwasher. And I had the audacity of being 39 doing that.
You're going to need to start bending your knees, sir.
I lift entirely with my lower back. Never bend
No.
or core at all. So anyway, that time I went to an urgent care and they were like, we can give you a shot, but honestly, you probably just need to use a foam roller and roll out your back. How often do you roll out your back? I was like, never. So give me a foam roller. Thankfully, I have a foam roller. So anyway, my back just starts fucking spaz. Like, it's so bad. And so bad enough that like, I couldn't move, and I made a doctor's appointment for later that day. And so I went to the doctor and explained what happened. And they gave me like prednisone, like a lot of prednisone, like more prednisone than I've ever taken in my entire life. But a lot of prednisone, muscle relaxers, and then like ibuprofen for anti-inflammatory. Great. So up until my appointment was at like 3, I want to say. Rachel left on the train to get down there at like 4:30, and she's like, even if I'm at the train, I still have time. Just let me know. I can skip like the bride's like bridal party stuff. It's more important for you to be okay. And most importantly, this is not her, this is me. Most importantly, I was transporting some of her stuff down there.
Oh boy.
Like I was transporting the dress she was wearing.
Yep, that's important.
Down there in the car. And I said these words in the following order, roughly.
Okay.
Don't worry. It's fine. I have the medicine. There's no way it's going to be worse tomorrow than it is today. And I can sit and drive today. So it's fine.
There's no way it'll be worse. Now, I'm just gonna ask a rhetorical question. Was it worse?
Do you remember the river where I said, there's no way we're not going to be able to paddle back up 50 yards.
Of course, yeah, no, it's
or when Ranger was like, I can barely feel this rain. I wouldn't even notice it if we weren't on the water. Of course.
Okay, Icarus.
So I wake up the next day. And I'm like getting ready, and my bag is in a little bit of pain. And I like get out of the shower, and it is like 10 times worse than it was.
Oh God!
Like to the point where like I'm up and like I had to like almost crawl to bed and lay down in bed to like let it stop spasming. For a while I had like a brace, like a core brace that I would wrap around for when I was like lifting.
And for the wedding, that's great because it can double as a cummerbund.
Yeah, exactly. Like one of those big like triple Velcro things. And like I crawled into the closet to get it out of this box just to like keep everything together. And I was like, oh my God. And like I'm looking at myself in the mirror being like, why did you say anything? What is the matter with you? You know how things work. This is how things work. So, spoiler alert, it was worse the next day. Then I drive like 3.5, 4 hours south to Lynchburg.
Dude, it's uncomfortable for me to drive 3.5, 4 hours when my back is fine. I can only imagine. Did you at least have comfort beads? Like, what were you using?
No, I had a lower back wedge that I put like behind my back.
Okay.
So like that was helpful. Get down there Friday night. Friday night's fine. Saturday we wake up for the wedding. Go to the church, set things up. The wedding was beautiful. Bride and groom, lovely.
Sure.
The wedding was at a church.
Okay.
A small church.
Yeah, with pews?
No, small church. So the groom's family owns a farm, and part of that farmland is this church.
Okay.
Small church. Imagine like a small southern church.
Sure.
With no air conditioning.
I've seen Sinners.
So it was hot. Like it was already hot, and then I'm in a full suit.
Plus your brace. Did you have the brace on?
I did not wear the brace.
Dude,
I wouldn't have been able to I could barely get the pants buttoned without the brace.
Okay.
The brace was not a long-term solution. It was just like a temporary. And so like I'm there, sitting there, and like at one point, like people start taking off their jackets, and I think like it was implied like you could take off your jacket, and I was like that would require me moving my back.
Right, sure.
So
I physically can't take off my jacket
because me taking off the jacket would sound a lot like.
So it's small church. Now, was the person who was conducting the ceremony, was there a lot of passion in their in what they were saying? Because you could have played off a groan,
like
you're testifying.
So what was really interesting about this is just given like the people who I know, I tend to go to not like religious weddings.
Sure.
So this was like a full church service combined with a wedding, right? So like I've gone to weddings where like there's a wedding and a little bit of the the Lord and stuff is in there. This was like equal parts. Of both. And so I, not knowing anything about what I was going into, expected this thing to be about
15 minutes,
20 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
30
in and
tops,
out, quick in and out.
In a tiny church. And I think it was around the point when they started lighting candles in the already humid and hot church that I was like, oh. And then I very quickly realized that this is going to be about 90 minutes here. Sitting on a very beautiful bench, but also one not conducive for the pain that I was in.
Probably not.
In regards to my back. And so, and I just want to let everyone know, we're getting to the hernia.
It's coming.
I haven't forgotten where this is going. And so, wedding service happened. Then we went to the farm, also beautiful, but difficult to find a comfortable spot to sit in a chair on uneven ground. So the back started hurting again. And so, eventually, went home, went to bed that night, woke up the next morning, drove 4 hours back.
Did Rachel drive the car?
So oddly enough, it was better for me to drive because I could like create counter pressure with the wheel.
You could at least push against.
I could support with the wheel, and then like I knew when turns were like if somebody else is driving, you can't really anticipate what's coming. Sure. Yeah. So drove back up. This was Sunday.
Okay, sure.
Sunday, sure. Why not?
Doesn't matter when you say it is because. This
Sunday.
This podcast exists in a timeless vacuum.
And so the prednisone I was on fine. Back started feeling better, but now my back is feeling like tight. Like it's moved beyond pain and is more in that like, ooh, your muscles are going to atrophy if you don't move them at all. So I decided to incorporate some light exercise in there. Nothing heavy.
Hang on. Incorporate light exercise. How? While you're driving?
Not while I'm driving. I got back Sunday.
Oh, okay.
This is through the rest of the week. So Monday, Tuesday.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were still in the car at this point. Continue.
Monday, Tuesday, I went to the gym a little bit. Very light back exercise.
Why?
Back started feeling better.
Oh, okay,
Moving
great.
the muscles, getting them going. Until we get to Thursday. Thursday, day before 4th of July. No, Friday.
Okay.
This would be
on the 4th of July.
Friday, the 4th of July. Friday.
Okay.
Friday. Because my niece's birthday was on Thursday.
Oh, how old?
4 years old. And Chloe's birthday was on Wednesday. Also 4 years old. And don't think for 1 second that my cat and my niece being the same age and having similar days for birthdays hasn't helped me remember both of theirs. So went 4th of July stuff with my niece. Came back. Rachel went out for a run. She's running again.
As she does.
Which is great. I decided to go down to the gym, a little light exercise. A little light. But I've been doing my upper back to get my back rest. You know what I haven't been working much?
Your legs.
My legs. So let's just put some light weight on the leg press.
That's not a good idea.
Light weight on the leg press. Light.
I could have told you that wasn't a good idea.
And just lightweight. Very lightweight. Curl, like leg extensions, like curls. Like
yeah, sure. You know what's connected to your legs? Your lower back.
The hernia. I believe the hernia bone is connected to your leg.
Right.
Came upstairs, came back. Rachel's back, I'm back. Get in the shower, come out, go.
Something protruding?
Hey, babe. Come here and feel this, because this goes in and this comes out. And she's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, well, what the fuck is that? So at the time, I'm like, this might just be, I did legs, my back is hurting. Maybe I just have like a muscle like twitch, because like my whole...
That's protruding?
My whole abdomen was like shaking and like jittering when I was like engaging it. And so I was like, okay. So like day one, I was like, all right, it's fine. Just like ignore it. Like just ignore it. Day two comes around, I'm like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's still there. I'm gonna make a doctor's appointment for Monday.
That's probably a good idea.
Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly.
Made that appointment for Monday. I was like, okay. Woke up Sunday, still there. And pain. Like in my back when I shift to certain angles, and like it's sticking out of my body. And at this point, I've allowed enough time without me trying to figure out what it is on my own to occur. And so me, the internet, good old Chappie, we all combined our resources, answered some questions.
Yeah.
And
hey Google, I've got something sticking out of my body that's not supposed to be there.
well, technically it's supposed to.
Well, it's supposed to be there, just not in that direction.
All the way tucked in.
Right.
And it was about midday yesterday when I came to the realization. I was like, if this isn't a hernia, this is the most like a hernia, non-hernia that's ever existed.
Okay.
Because this is now a tumor that needs to get cut out of my body.
Well.
So I made the doctor's appointment today.
Yeah.
And I just got back from the doctor's appointment.
Oh, fantastic.
Literally about an hour and a half ago.
I was shocked when I got the text that said, I'm good to record.
Well, that's because I can't get the CAT scan until Wednesday night. I go in for my official CAT scan at 9:30.
So the doctor's appointment can't confirm whether or not you have a hernia?
What he said was, I cannot diagnose this as a hernia without the CAT scan to confirm that.
I can't diagnose this without it being the most expensive thing it can possibly be.
However, my insurance is pretty good, so it's like $50 for a CAT scan, which is fine.
Great.
But he was like, bud, you very probably have a hernia. And I was like, cool. let's hypothetically walk through.
Let's game this out. Yeah.
What's this? What are we looking at here? What's this going to be? He's like, well, you're going to go and get your CAT scan. He's like, full disclosure, can't just look. You're going to look at other things. So we're going to look at your spleen. We're going to look at your appendix. We're going to look at your liver. We're going to look at your kidneys. And he's like, and some other shit's going to show up. Like some other stuff is going to show up there. A lot of it is not a big deal. Some of it's going to seem like a big deal, but it's not a big deal. Or we might spot something in there that is a big deal.
And maybe we catch it early.
We caught it early. He's like, but it's not going to be just as simple, and this is a hernia. And
I can't wait for the follow-up episode. How soon do you know the results of said CAT scan?
He said we might get it by Friday. He said if not, then like probably early to mid next week.
Guys, it's a two-parter.
So
this man might be in two parts. So stay tuned.
So laughing hurts the most.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. Outside of the other things that are depressing me, let's go over the things that, first of all, because of this, I'm a little stressed.
Sure.
Got a little bit of frustration going. A little bit of the internal,
Yeah.
Good way I like to take care of that. Well, something I like to call maybe working out.
Oh, God.
Maybe lifting some weights.
Yeah, you can't do that. Don't do that. No.
But you know what? That's fine, because I don't need to lift weights. Because you know what I recently started doing?
What's that?
Running. So, can't run. No, you can't do that.
You can't exert yourself. Why can't you play video games? What's wrong with that?
Because this couldn't have happened during the fucking winter when it's dark at 4 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
and it's okay to sit this has to
draw the curtains, dude.
This has to hit in the mid. This is my entire. And
First
by
of
the
all,
way,
hang on.
Before we get there, final.
Sure.
Point. They're probably not going to be able to schedule the surgery for at least a month.
Okay.
And it's like it's like a 2 to 3 week, just back on your feet recovery time. Mm-hmm. 4 to 6, normal every day. It's 8 to 12 before I can do anything physically exerting again.
Okay, here's the thing. It is, as we speak, July 7th. It is garbage outside. It is like walking around inside someone's mouth outside.
I know.
It's awful. No one should ever physically exert themselves in weather like this. So take this as a sign to just enjoy all of the air conditioning you can in a relaxed as you can get state. Because, yeah, I'm sorry, you can catch up later.
I know. It's just frustrating.
I'm sure it is.
It's just frustrating.
Well, we're here with you. We cannot wait to laugh while you can't at your ongoing predicament, and I'm very sorry you have to deal with this. This is serious. I'm glad that I have you as a Jared Stern kind of by proxy to kind of deal with this kind of stuff, because I, knock wood, I think this table's made of wood, have never dealt with anything like that, and I've been lifting quite a bit. Not to brag or nothing, but I've been doing a lot of deadlifting and things like that with my trainer. And yeah, for someone who's on the doorstep of 50 and it's rapidly approaching, and it's constantly rapidly approaching, relentlessly. So I was talking to a buddy of mine, and we were marveling. He was marveling at the fact that I was about to turn 50. He's like, "Really? You don't look like you're 50." And have you ever seen the movie Cocoon?
I don't think so.
You've never seen Cocoon?
I have.
Oh, it's a Steve Guttenberg classic.
I'm familiar with the Goot.
Okay, so in Cocoon,
yeah,
Steve Guttenberg and his group stumble upon this old folks' home where the people in it are all of a sudden are filled with life and vim and vigor and acting like they're in their 20s again. Because
still look that age.
They still look that age, but they're able to live and dance, and they're much more active than they should be, because there is an alien pod living in their swimming pool of their old folks' home that is granting them this. Now, one of the aliens is played by Wilford Brimley.
Yeah.
You familiar with Wilford Brimley? One of the avatars of old people.
Yeah.
Okay? Him and Abe Vigoda were neck and neck. like flabby neck and neck to see who could be the embodiment of old people. Here's the thing. Wilford Brimley in Cocoon, when they started filming Cocoon, was fucking my age. He was 49. Yeah. And he looked like Wilford Brimley.
Well, this is also similar to like, you've seen the photos, right? Like the things that have circled on the internet of like a picture of the cast of Cheers.
Sure.
And their ages and correspondence.
Sure, like everyone seemed like, everyone looked older.
You're like 20 years older than Norm at this point. Norm was like 39
like
or something.
all the Golden Girls at the time were like in their 50s.
Yeah.
And the youngest of the group was Estelle Getty, who was playing the oldest of the group.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And people like to only talk about all the negatives of the preservatives on our food.
Yep.
But not the positives.
They're working wonders, folks. Anyway. So we were talking about that. I had a couple things I wanted to share. This podcast, I know the last one was kind of long. Sorry to the listeners who are listening, who were dealing with a long, all the long boat stories. I had a couple things on my things that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to make sure I got. Okay, so I'm very, very unfortunately, this podcast is going to take a pivot. I had to attend a funeral for a friend who was only like a year older than me. She lost her battle with cancer. But the thing is, like, she'd been fighting it for a long time. We had thought she'd beaten it, and then when it came back, she didn't tell anybody except her immediate family. So it came as a shock to everybody when she passed. And she was a very successful, also a very talented singer-songwriter. She has like 5 albums out. Her name's Talia Siegel. Do yourself a favor, check out her music. Anyway, so we were all gathered at the funeral, grieving openly. And I don't know how many funerals you've been to recently, but I encountered something, and I want to run it by you. Mm-hmm. Should I be as horrified as I was? Okay. One of the people at the funeral, while everyone's gathered and mourning, and while the casket is being taken out of the hearse, was fucking taking pictures with his phone. Yeah. Am I wrong for thinking that's fucking ghoulish? Like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing?
Huh.
Yeah. Like, no, don't get me wrong.
Huh.
I've been at a relative's funeral, and I've been in charge of like live streaming video for people who cannot be there.
Huh.
Of the ceremony. Like, my sister, who was in Israel, couldn't be at my aunt's funeral, and so I had to kind of dial them in and so they could be there at the ceremony. But to take pictures of just goings on, not like group pictures, not like pictures of people with people, which is still fucking weird. Yeah.
All right, let me walk through this a little bit, because like this is because here's the thing. The funerals that I've gone to, the majority of them have been, which is actually kind of depressing to think about it, when I was much younger. Okay. And so at the time, the only way to take a picture at a funeral would be to pull out like a Nikon.
Like an actual camera with the lens. Yeah, sure.
And
no, I get it.
that feels incredibly insensitive.
Incredibly insensitive, yes.
So I'm trying to rationalize, like, for those of you who are watching the podcast, the difference between like having a camera horizontally versus twisting that vertically.
Oh, no, it wasn't twisted vertically. He was taking horizontal pictures with his phone.
I think, okay, so here's like walking through the, like, before we dive into this, let's talk about picture culture in general.
Sure.
Or video culture. The common adage, the very, let's take the thing that is most made fun of, the pictures or the videos of the fireworks.
Right, sure.
You're never going to watch it again.
Never, ever, ever.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But you're never going to go back and be like, so just enjoy the moment. Commonly, we associate like the taking of pictures of things with
wanting to hold on to the memories.
Wanting to hold on to the memory. And I'm trying to divide this scenario into, are we in firework territory, which is a situation that you're never going to go back to ever again, or are we in wedding territory where you might go through and just scroll through all of them just kind of like...
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I would say that a funeral is diametrically opposed to a wedding.
Correct. They're the opposites in everything. What
Yes.
I'm saying is, I think, let me pull back a little bit.
Sure.
How close was this individual to the person who passed?
We all knew her primarily from a summer theater group that we were in.
Because like
years ago,
having,
but we've we've kept in touch since then. We friendships that have been like 30 years old. So
50 is a tough age to pass. Having lost a sister when she was very, very young, I could see a situation where maybe, and this is nothing I've ever talked to her about, but I could see a situation where, like, let's say my mom would like to be able to see picture or video of the funeral just to relive how important and like valued and loved my sister was by so many people.
Sure.
Like a way of being able to kind of reinforce or remember that. I feel like a friend who went to theater camp might be a little bit removed from this very special scenario that I can create
so maybe,
to justify
maybe like close family.
Sure,
Maybe. But this was like specifically, he took a shot of the casket being removed from the hearse. Like of the family pulling the casket
This was
out.
on a phone?
Yes.
So it's not like he has some sort of like...
No, wasn't on a tripod, nothing like that.
Not like a fancy camera or anything?
Nope. Cell phone camera.
Huh.
Yeah.
I think it's weird.
Yeah, it's really fucking weird. Thank you for co-signing that.
I'd have trouble defending it in the court of public appeal.
Yeah.
Public opinion.
Anyway, so all right, so that I just wanted to bring that up.
Sure.
Because really, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
But to put things in a kind of a more light, in more of a light mood.
Yeah.
As we finish up this episode of the podcast, after we were done getting the grief out, as it were. A bunch of friends who I had not seen in a while. We all went and had lunch at a local Roy Rogers. Have you been to Roy Rogers recently?
I have not, and I know that there's one in
They're
Virginia.
apparently on the comeback. Like this was a fairly new Roy Rogers. Like in my mind, they were a dying franchise.
Yeah, they were
with maybe like 2 or 3 left in the country.
They were in like malls and like train stations.
Yep,
is where I remember.
They were like Sbarros. You'd find them on like the New Jersey Turnpike, and that was pretty much it at this point. Anyway, we went to Roy Rogers, and one of my friends orders the large fries. At Roy Rogers, do you know what the large fries is?
No.
It's a holster of fries. That's what they call it, a holster of fries. And the container looks like a holster.
I remember this.
Okay. What I did not remember, and what I witnessed with my own eyes, is that the holster of fries has a fucking belt loop on it. So you can actually put the holster of fries on your belt.
This is genius.
It's the most American fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
They know their audience.
They do. And I was just like, how am I almost 50? And I am just now seeing this amazing piece of American innovation.
I remember the holster, oddly enough. What did you get at Roy Rogers?
Burger,
like
fries,
what's
and a
their
milkshake.
thing? Like Burger King is the Whopper, McDonald's is the Big Mac.
I don't know that they have a signature
It's just burger?
burger. I mean, they do, but I'm not sure what it is. Like, there's no Big Mac. I don't know if there's an analogous burger to the Big Mac or the Whopper at Roy Rogers. The thing that brings you in at Roy Rogers is the Fixins Bar.
The Fixins Bar.
You have, obviously, if you've never been to a Roy Rogers, you've never experienced the magic of the Fixins Bar.
30 years since I've been to a Roy Rogers.
And they have in the middle of the restaurant, giant sneeze guard intact, and there is all of your fixins for all of your burgers.
What do I got?
Lettuce, tomato, pickles, jalapeno peppers, banana peppers. An array of sauces and ketchups and mayonnaises and mustards, and then you have it your way. That was Roy Rogers.
I'm pretty sure
you can have it your way.
McDonald's is have it your way.
No, it is not.
What's McDonald's?
I'm loving it.
I think it's Burger King's.
I'm pretty sure have it your way. Anyway, the Fixins bar is so you can, in fact, make your burger to order.
I clearly, they are allowing you to. I think have it your way is like a customizable thing with Burger King. Burger King, have it your way.
Oh, yeah, you know what? BK, have it your way. Yeah, okay, fine. But anyway.
Okay,
but but the Fixins bar is the thing that is the signature experience at Roy Rogers.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And
I gotta go to Roy
the other
Rogers.
thing that I had a milkshake with my burger, and unlike McDonald's, they actually used milk and ice cream to make their milkshake.
That is pretty fucking cool.
It was pretty fucking cool.
That was pretty cool.
What else? There was one other thing. So we went to the Nationals game over the weekend and watched the Nationals get their asses kicked by the Red Sox. It was a particularly hot day that day, as it has been, as we've talked about.
It's been humid and it's been hot.
And if you've been to a baseball game, a Nationals game, you know that concession stand prices are outrageous.
Awful.
Well, I saw someone sit in the seat, like the row or two in front of us, had an icy. Like a Slurpee.
Like a Slurpee slushy, yeah.
And I went to go in search of an icy. I went out into the concession universe to try and find out where it was. And when I finally came to the little concession stand, I was like, "Hey, how much for an icy?" And the guy goes, $10.99. And I was like, "You know what? Don't worry about it." And he leans into me and he goes, "Unless you're willing to pay cash." Are you fucking kidding me? Some guy's trying to do an under-the-table icy transaction?
So how much you pay?
I didn't pay anything. I don't carry cash on me. I didn't have anything.
Did you ask him if he took Venmo?
Right, exactly. No, I was just like, really? Is this how you're making your money on the side?
Sure. It's an old bartending trick.
I guess it is. I was like, you know what? I appreciate the sentiment, but I'm good.
Yeah. If you've ever paid cash at a bar, you never paid for those drinks. You paid for the tips. I'll have 2 beers. Here's 3 beers. Here's a 20. Great. Let me just put 3 beers on our buyback and take that 20 and put it right in the tip jar.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to, and I know you don't, but I look forward to seeing how all of this, I am basically your entire chassis, how your look under the hood plays out.
I just want to know.
Yeah, it's good to know.
I think with everything in life, like people have the ability to adapt if they know what's going on.
Sure, and you're going to have to adapt by constantly pushing that thing in.
Well, this I know is happening.
Right.
But like, it's the living in the unknown.
Sure. When your medical imagination runs wild, even worse things can go.
You don't have the ability to plan accordingly or adapt. You feel thrown off when it's coming your way, and that's why knowing is more important than what it actually is. Which is why you need to, in the future, if you're going to talk about someone dying on this podcast,
I'm sorry.
You need to give me a heads up so it's not 20 minutes of material. It's like the third time it's happened now.
I'm so sorry.
Hey everybody, thanks for sticking your ears between 2 sterns.
Please leave us a 5-star review, even if it's a sarcastic one.
Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Have an idea for the show, or are you also Jared Stern?
Shoot us an email. You can find links to everything at jaredstern.com.